Good morning, students. Today we will discuss about the topic is design of experiments. What is DOE? In experiment, a test or series of tests where the experimenter makes purposeful changes to input variables or process or a system so that we can observe or identify the reasons for changes in the output responses. In a experimenter, have to choose that input variables. Based on the input variables, finally we get that output responses. In the design of experiments, we have to planning and conduct the experiment to analyze the resulting data. Finally we get that objective conclusions, what they expect, the expected results we will get with the support of design of experiments. Design of experiments is defined as a branch of applied statistics that deals with planning, conducting, analyzing, interpreting controlled tests to evaluate factors that controls the value of parameters or group of parameters. It deals with a single parameters or set of group of parameters to get that finally output expected results. DOE is a powerful data collection and analysis tool that can be used in a variety experiment situations. It allows multiple input factors to be manipulated, determining their effect on a desired output. By manipulating multiple inputs at the same time, DOE can identify important interactions that may be missed when experimenting with one factor at a time. So in this support of design of experiments, we involved number of input parameters. We have to easily to find out interactions between that input parameters. Based on the input parameters, finally we have to get that output responses. All the possible combinations can be investigated, full factorial or only a portion of the possible combinations or fractional factorial. So what is the difference between the full factorial and fractional factorial? So depends upon the experimenter invest that money. So based on this, you have to conduct the experiments. Full factorial means number of experiments have to conduct the full number of 27 experiments means 27 experiments have to conduct. Fractional factorial means have to partially have to conduct the experiments. We get that output responses only in between that conducted experiments. Systematic approach to data collections. In the design of experiments, data collections is very important. Based on the data collections, the nature of the data collections have to give that output responses. In a design of experiments, a systematic, rigorous approach to engineering problem solving that applies principles and techniques at a data collection stage so as to ensure the generation of varied, defensible and supportable engineering conclusions. How much data I have to collect based on that input variables, we get that output based on that collection of data. In addition, all of this is carried out under the constraints of minimal expenditure of engineering runs, time and money. You have to save that time and money. Unwanted experiment conductor you have to avoid with the support of design of experiments. DOE problem area. There are 4 areas you have to identify: comparative, screening or characterizing, modeling and optimizing. In the first case, the engineer is interested in assessing whether a change in a single factor has in fact resulted in a change or improvement to the process as a whole. How to easily to compare with the support of design of experiments. They are said that. In the second case, the engineer is interested in understanding the process whole in the sense after design or analysis, easy to find out that order which one you have to huge important, which one is the least important. With the support of DOE, you have to screening or characterize between the factors, you have to easily to identify. Then modeling. In the third case, the engineer is interested in functionally modeling the process with the output being good fitting and have good estimate of coefficient in that functions. You have to easily to model with the support of DOE which factor have to mostly have to influence it. So the modeling area also DOE it will be help. Finally, optimizing. In the fourth case, the engineer is interested in determining optimal settings of process factors. So in these cases, you have to start the work before you have to fix some input parameters. The based on the input parameters, we get that output parameter. You have to easily to set which parameters to give that most influence. You have to easily to identify with the help of to conduct that experiment. So, you have to easily to optimize with type of parameter it will be help for this one. A well-performed experiment may provide answers to questions. Once you have to start that experiment, the experimenters keep in mind some of the following points. What are the key factors in a process? You have to start any work, some of the process parameters they are involved. So you have to line out, you have to think what are the parameters you have to import in the particular process. So you have to choose, you have to select the particular process. At what settings would the process deliver acceptable performance? Setting means the level of process. So lower level, medium level, higher level. So it depends upon the experimentations. We have to fix that settings. What are the key, main and interactions effect in the process? So which we have to start the work, we have to know about what are the input parameters, have to influence on the particular work. So based on things, we have to choose that process parameters. Last, what settings would bring at less variations in the output? Which factors would give that less interactions on the particular process? Have to easily to identify. So have to choose, have to start that work before you have to clear idea about what are the parameters you have to use under particular experiments. Why DOE or experiment is needed? Determine which variables are the most influence in a process or system. So with the support of design of experiments, have to easily to identify most influential parameters in the particular process or system. Determine where to set the inputs so the influence of uncontrolled factors is minimized. Summary of to the design of experiments. DOE. Design of experiments is a set of controlled experiments conducted in a randomized order. What is factor? A controlled or uncontrolled input variables. Some of the parameters we are not able to uncontrolled parameters, like environmental conditions are not able to control. So these are the parameters that are uncontrolled. In controlled parameters, if examples you have to do that machining operations, speed, feed, depth of cut is a input parameter. So the type of parameters you have to easily to control, easily have to modify, easily have to adjust. So these are the parameters, the controlled parameters. Level, already we said that a specific value or setting for a factors. So level of factors, so lower level, medium level, higher level. How much value you have to take for the particular process. Response variables, an output which is measured or observed. Based on the input variables, we get that output responses. Thank you.